Alright, welcome to Chaka Quantics. Now in this tutorial I'll be putting us through how to price preliminary items. Alright, now the popular thing that is being done is when you get the cost of your project, you say take a particular percentage, say maybe 5% or 7%, as the case may be, depending on the size of the project. Alright, but in this tutorial I'll be putting us through how to price some of these items, right, so it can serve as a guide whenever you want to price one for your company or for yourself or for an academic purpose. Alright, now this is a B2C limited container terminal. Now these are cost headings. Now the project is for 14 months, which is for 56 days, which is also 392 days if you multiply 56 by 7 days in a week, right? Because work also goes on through the week, especially when you have targets to meet and you have them for, though on the 7th day, say on a Sunday, you may not have too many persons, or maybe the first day of the week, Sunday, you may not have too many, but there will be people there that will be carrying out some works to help you meet up with your timeline. Alright, so this is the project. We want to price the preliminary items. Now we already have them arranged here, so we're picking them from here one after the other. And of course we know that preliminaries refers to general costs and expenses incurred by a contractor in connection with a construction project, but not directly related to the physical construction work itself. Right, take for instance, we've discussed this before when we're talking about preliminaries, how to price preliminaries in valuations, right? Where we said, take for instance your site office, take for instance security, take for instance fencing, take for instance site vehicles, take for instance printing. You get? Now these are preliminary items. Your workshop, your medical, your small clinic, these are preliminary items, right? And they may not be directly related to the physical work going on site, right? But without them, that work going on site will not be executed effectively and efficiently. So they are it's a very, very important component of a construction project. So we'll be looking at these items one after the other, and we'll see how we price them effectively in a project. Right, the first is insurance. I'll try as much as I can to be as short as possible so the video doesn't become too long. Now we know that insurance basically is a contract between an individual or a company, now B2CL, with an insurance company, where B2CL pays a premium to the insurance company, which agrees to provide B2CL with financial protection against specific risk or losses. Definitely on a project, the contractor needs to insure the works, because he's the one responsible. The client is not responsible, so he needs to insure the work. So in case of any damage or any loss, he can fall back to the insurance company to rescue him out as at his original position. Alright, basically it is an agreement between you and the insurance company. Whatever you agree, in this case B2CL in this project agrees 27 million. That is why you see the 27 million. Alright, and of course if the project spans beyond the period of time agreed, you have to renew. B2CL we have to renew. Okay, alright, so medical, basically on a construction site you usually have a small clinic right? You have a nurse or a qualified personnel there that administers drugs, because you cannot tell when your workers are going to fall ill, or maybe an accident on site, an injury or something. So you need a clinic, and of course you're going to buy drugs, you're going to buy plaster, you're going to buy bandage. You need a whole lot of things in that particular clinic. Now let's say you're spending 100,000 naira for a week, 100,000 naira a week, right? I'm a Nigerian, all right, so it is in naira. Every k you see there, it is 100,000, it is in thousand. If you see k, it is 1,000 naira, 1,000 naira, 80,000 naira, 50. It is k, it is in naira. Please, let's take note, all right, not in dollars. Okay, all right, 100,000 naira per week for your drugs and your everything you need for your small clinic, and we need it for 56 weeks. So that gives us this particular amount, 100,000 naira times 56. All right, now we come over to this item here, printing and stationery preliminary items. All right, printing and stationaries. Now of course, in the course of the project, there will be need for you to print drawings, big drawings like IFC drawings issued for construction drawings. Right, you need this drawing for the work on site. You may also need smaller ones, maybe that's for the PM or for the construction manager, for the quantity surveyor, for the planner, like we have here. All right, they all need printers to execute their works effectively. They need printing, they do printing betimes, so we'll be needing printer for them. Now what we have here is this: we need a plotter. Right, a few years ago, say 2 years ago, plotter is about 1 million naira. Now 2.5 million naira. And of course, the plotter will be using paper, right? Plotter has the ability to print larger drawings, A0, A1, A2. Can also print smaller ones such as A3 and A4, but majorly they are for bigger drawings. 18,000 naira. We'll be needing 100 for the plotter paper. All right. So that gives us 1.8 million for the plotter paper. I'll be needing printers also for CM, for PM, for plan, depending on what you have in your own company or your own organization. It could be only a project manager and a QS. It could be a project manager and a planner. It could be a planner and right. This is a guide. So 80,000 for one printer times 4 number printers, we have 320,000. Then also we need, of course, the printer need to use cartridges. So at 10,000 naira per one for 4 printers. For 4 number printers. All right, let me do this here. For 4 number printers in a month for 14 months. No, for 14 months. All right, this is basically what we have. 10,000 naira for one cartridge for 4 number cartridges. All right, for 14 months. So cost of cartridge per month. All right, now we need printing papers too. Printing papers, definitely. So if we plan for 2 reams per week, depending on the magnitude of the project, right? In this case, BTCL is planning 2 reams per week, right? 2 reams per week for 4 number printers, and the ream is 7,500 naira for 4 number printers. 2 reams per week for 56 weeks. This is what we have here, 7.5 for 2 number papers. Did I say printer before? For 2 number papers for 4 number printers for 56 weeks. So we have this. So this is some for printing and stationery. These are all preliminary items. This is how you price them. All right, let's quickly go to our summary. Now here we have safety and welfare. Safety and welfare. All right, this is safety and welfare. All right, now some companies, they sublet their safety aspect of their work, the safety aspect of their work, right? Depending on the magnitude. right? They sublet it so that another company takes charge of the safety of the site. And of course, it is always more effective because if anything happens, they know they are liable. All right. So, of course, the head of the safety team is going to be paid. So this subcontractor for safety, 300,000 naira per month for 14 months. This is what the supervisor will be paid. Now, other safety materials, of course. In the course of the project, you'll be needing disposable nose covers, you'll be needing safety harness, you'll be needing ear muff, ear plug, coverall, safety boots, fire extinguisher, as the case maybe. You have to take everything into consideration. How many numbers? What is the cost? How many numbers? What is the cost? At the end of the day, if we sum everything here, like you see here, that gives us 18,324,000 naira for the duration. All right, this is what you have here. So if I sum everything, safety and welfare gives us 23,024,000 naira. All right, we quickly go to a summary again. Now, site mobilization, and of course, if you don't mobilize, you can't execute. You have to mobilize the site before you can execute. And basically, if the work is not around your vicinity, not a stone throw from where your company is, you're definitely going to transport your equipment. You're definitely going to carry down your backhoe, your excavator, your grader, your mobile crane, your roller. If you need one, you are definitely going to transport them down. In this case, B2CL will be transporting these to the project site. 5 excavators require 5 trips. For backhoe, 3 trips. For grader, as you can see in that other, 11 trips for office stores and containers to move these things down. And of course, in moving them down, you're going to be using a low loader. A low loader will be carrying, low loaders don't move too fast, they just go at their own max speed and to and fro depending on when they reach there. And of course, it takes a minimum of 3 days for a return trip. A minimum of 3 days for a return trip for that particular low loader. That is what we have here. All right, now this a total of 36 trips. All right, a minimum of 3 days for a return trip. So how many trips altogether? That means 3 times 36. That gives us 108 total number of trips. Okay, now higher rate per day for a low loader. Higher rate per day for a low loader is 95,000 naira, and fuel per day. Fuel is quite expensive now, 70,000 naira. If I sum everything up, I have this. Now, total cost for transportation of plant and equipment to site, that gives me 17,220,000 naira. You have to allow for this in your preliminaries, else you're going to be shooting yourself on the leg. That is English. Shoot yourself on the foot, shoot yourself on the leg, whichever one, you'll be shooting at yourself. All right, and of course, apart from your equipment and your plants, you're going to transport your workers to site. You're going to transporting your workers to site. Now, site management team, right? These are key personnel, maybe supervisors, maybe assistant project managers that are locals, foremen, and all. We have 36 numbers, and they will be requiring 10,000 naira per trip to go down to the site, to mobilize them to the site. All right, so this gives us 36 numbers for at 10,000 per trip. That gives us 360,000 naira. Also, you need to transport your workers, your laborers down. 60 laborers at 10,000 naira per trip. That gives us this. So the total gives us 960,000. Of course, you also need to do your site establishment, establish your site. Right, you're going to be bringing your containers. Right, we're putting them somewhere. Your batching plant, you have to put your batching plant somewhere. You need a tower crane, you're going to put your tower crane somewhere. Like this here, a batching, this batching plant, B2CL requiring 186 cubic meter to prepare installation of batching plant and every other areas around it at 93,317 naira. That gives us this. The same thing for the establishment of tower crane. If your project requires this, good. If it doesn't require, it's just an add-up knowledge when you are going to encounter such magnitude of projects that will require you to price these items. The same thing goes for the tower crane. You'll be needing piles, 3 number piles, at times 4 numbers, the case may be. Here 3 number piles, right, where with a solid base where the tower crane is going to sit, say at 6, that is 2 million per pile, and the others for the concrete base. That gives us this amount here. All right, nice. You have to, of course, you have to establish a precast yard. Like, you need to have your own yard. All right. Here for B2CL, they will require 120 cubic meter of concrete for that yard. Of course, you are the one that's going to prepare your yard. If you at 1917, that gives us this, and of course you'll be requiring scaffolding at some point. So we allow here 4 million. All right. So for some these up, we have this, and if we have this, this gives us a total of 58 million rather, 254,992 naira 84 kobo. Don't mind me, I'm just trying to be a bit fast. Okay. All right, so this is for mobilization. You have to mobilize your plant and equipment, you have to mobilize your workers, and you have to prepare your site to receive the containers and everything you want to use and your batching plan. All right, so let's come back to our summary. Experts, salaries and expenses. All right, now B2CL has expatriates. All right, so expert means expatriate. B2CL have expatriate, and we have to pay them. They also have locals, and we also have to pay them. All right, so please, can you take note that your salaries and your allowances, they all come under your preliminaries. Salaries, allowances, expenses, they all come under your preliminaries, not on the 30% profit and overhead you're adding. All right, can you take note? Now B2CL has expatriates that they use for their work. All right, now this particular project they have at hand, they'll be needing a few of them. Now some of them may be staying throughout the project duration, while some may just be coming, may stay 6 months. Take for instance the regional project manager. He has maybe like 4 projects around that particular region. He was not going to be on your own site for long. We can be there for 3 months or 5 months or 6 months, as the case may be. Then he moves to another state to supervise that another project, and again from there he moves to another place to supervise another project. That is why you see 50% here, right? 50% means he will not be staying throughout the 14 months, right? He might be staying there for maybe 7 months out of the 14. That is why it is 50%. All right, what is his salary per month? It is 3,115,000. Of course, and they don't pay them in naira, they pay them in dollars. All right, but this has to be in naira. All right, for this, that gives us this. The same thing, contract manager, expatriate, he will stay there for the full 14 months. He's being paid 2.89 million. Like the same thing for the allowances, because I will not be able, I will just put you through this, then I won't be able to, otherwise we will not be able to go through each of them one after the other. All right, if you require the template, just reach out to me either via mail or via WhatsApp, and you are going to get it. It will be a beautiful guide. All right, okay, now we have a QS then. Of course, you see, it's not an expatriate. He will be staying there for 14 months. He's being paid 250 per month. This is what he's going to be paid for that period of that particular period. Assistant QS is being paid 150 for 14 months, and that. Now the allowances. Now this regional manager is being given a 40,000 naira weekly allowance. All right, weekly allowance. He will be there for half the project period, half the project duration, which is 28 weeks out of 56. All right, so throughout that particular period, he will get 1.2 million for that half the project period time. The same thing goes for the contract manager, being paid at the 5,000 naira per week. The assistant QS 10,000, the QS 10,000 naira per week, and assistant QS 4,000 naira per week. All right, so the same thing goes depending on how many you have on in your organization. This is how you are going to plan for each of them that is going to be on that particular project. You don't miss anybody out, otherwise you're shooting yourself either on the leg or in the brain. You're just shooting yourself. All right, so kindly take note of that. The same thing, the same. Now okay, now see, this is Mechanical and electrical specialist is expatriate there. You see people working with him. Then the earthworks has its own team, just like that. Depending on how your organization runs, this is how you plan for the preliminaries for each individual on that particular project. Their salaries, their allowances, it has to be accounted for in the preliminaries. Now total ex-parte salaries here is 177 million, and the allowances here is 7.57 7.6 million, however you want it. All right, now this is it. This is expatriate, right? The other ones that is not highlighted here, they are the locals, they are the indigenous professionals. The same thing for site management and salaries too. Right, for the locals, the indigenous and professionals. Now you see them, you see each of them, you see them, you see them, you see them. All right, so we add up everything. That gives us, this is their own allowances. So if we add these two up here, that is 184,680, 184,680, and for site management this is 644,445. That's how we, all right, that's how we got this here, this plus this. All right, now let's go back to our summary. All right, security, salaries and expenses, preliminaries also. Now basically you're going to be needing securities. Now if that securities, your site is going to be exposed. Even with securities, your site is exposed. How much more without securities at all? Of course you're going to plan for their salaries as well. Now here's what we have. We allow for 4 securities, right? Maybe 2 shifts in the day, 2 for B2CL, 2 shifts in the day, 2 shifts in the night, depending on what you have. Yours may be 1, yours may be 2, depending on it. So you just have to plan for them. They are being paid 56,000 naira per month. For 14 months, this is what they will be paid for 4 of them. Now transport allowance is 2,000 naira per day. We have transport allowance is 2,000 naira per day, so that is 8,000 naira for 4 of them, right? Times 392 days, go and come, because securities, they have to be there. All right, now of course as they are there, they need to make calls in terms of emergency. They need to call the PM, call the CM, call the whoever they want to call. All right, so giving them recharge cards, you have to take that into consideration also. 8k per week, that is 2k for each person. All right, so 8,000 for 56 weeks. Now also weekly police feeding and weekly allowance, right? So we have we keep 50,000 naira for them. Yeah, security, 50,000 naira for them for 56 week, 50,000 naira per week for 56 weeks. So for add everything up, this is security, salary and expenses. It may not be anything police in your own, it could just be your own local security you're using. You have to account for them also. All right, quickly, this item that's still menu. Rent and accommodation. All right, rent and accommodation, of course, definitely you're going to provide, except in most companies how they do it. If you're working within the state where you have your parents' company, they will say you must be in Lagos. All right, if you stay in Lagos, you have a place in Lagos, you can actually come from your home. But if you're going outside Lagos, they're going to give you an accommodation. Like in this case, we have rent and accommodation. Of course, you have both expatriates and you have both locals. You need to provide for them. So we have 7 number expatriates for B2CL. Of course, 3-bedroom flat at 1.2 million naira each. That gives us this amount for them. Now of course, site management, that is the local lead professionals. We have 36 numbers, 12 number houses, not one for each. They have to they have to pay at 800,000 naira. That is what locals face. All right, in this part of the country, this part of the world, not country, part of the world. All right, now of course, you're going to pay for their electricity bills and their security bills. All right, for expatriate it is 40,000 naira per week for 56 weeks, and for the locals 20,000 naira per week for 56 weeks. So total rent and accommodation is 21.3 or 0.36 or 0.4 million. All right, site transport. site transport. Of course, by the time you get to the project site, definitely there will be movement of vehicles. Your dispatcher cannot drive themselves, all right, because of the fear of maybe kidnap or something. All right, so you give them vehicles, you give them drivers, you give them fuel the vehicles for them, and all they are part of preliminary expenses. All right, expected vehicles, we need 3 number for and 28,000 naira per day for 392 days. All right, because now most of the times you may not need all of them for that long period, but some will be staying throughout the project. So as many comes, if they go, those that are there will still be using the vehicle. All right. Also, 4 number vehicles, 3 number, 4 number vehicles, 28k per day. This is for 240 days. See, 240 days, they will not be staying for the total 392 days. They'll be needing for, they'll be spending this much. 4 number, 20,000 naira per day for 240 days. All right. Fuel for vehicles. All right. Okay. This is for vehicles within the site. Now you see, there's a time here for 4 hours. Maybe just within the site. Go to the length of the site and all and that. So 3 numbers, 4 hours, 15,000 naira. All right, so we have 15,000 naira times 3 for 392 days. The same thing goes for this. Now, of course, site management also. That is you lead professionals also. They will need to come to site. They are being paid 2,000 naira per day, whatever it is with your organization. If you want to price the preparedness effectively, you need to know all these things handy, or you need to be with a person that knows these things. They need to give you this information for you to price the preliminaries effectively. We have 36 numbers of them, 2,000 naira per day for 392 days. All right, so total site transport is 118 million naira. I'll be a little bit faster now. Testing of material. Definitely, you're going to test materials. You're going to be testing materials. All right, and you're going to do concrete tests. That at times you may do water tests, reinforcement tests, that is bending tests, whatever it is test. At times you may crush stones. At times you may do sand test. There are so many tests to be done. All right. Okay. Now B2CL had done a previous project, and the total test they conducted was 6 million naira, 6.027 million naira. All right, and now this is higher than that. This is higher. 6027 times 4. Yeah, I would have said so. This is less, and this is bigger than that. Say 4 times. So multiplied by 4. This gives us a knowledge of what we are going to spend. It may not be the exact. It may be a little higher, maybe a little less, but it helps you to estimate the amount you're going to be spending, or a relative amount you'll be spending on tests. Right. Okay. Now, quickly, site offices and stores. All right. Site offices and stores. Okay. We'll be needing, of course, on the project site. Right, you have site offices. It could be containers, right, furnished containers, right, for the public. It could be as many as possible, as many as you are going to need. The QS department, they have their own. The accounting department have their own. The project manager have their own. The construction manager, that is depending on how many number. But B2CL in this case, they have 12 number offices / store containers for at 1.5 million naira each. That gives us this. Then running cost per month requires 7,500 naira, right, per month for 12 numbers of them times for 14 months. Of course, they'll be drinking water, 2,400 naira per week. That's this is a normal seaway at 2,400 naira per week, right, for 56 weeks. Of course, we have 12 number offices and stores multiplied by 2. So allow for furniture. Of course, you're going to furnish them, and allow for hire of 3 units of toilets. All right, this how do they call it? Movable toilet. Is it movable toilet they call it? Whatever it is. Those are movable toilets. All right. So I really can't remember the exact name now, so but you know what I'm talking about. So hire for 50,000 naira per week for 3 units. So you need to plan for them for 56 weeks. That gives us this. So the sum of this gives us what we are going to allow for site office and toilet as it is applicable to your own project. So you apply. All right. Okay, we go to the next item. Generators. Now definitely you're going to be needing lighting on your site. You're going to be needing lighting on your site, and also where your staff or where your workers live, maybe the professionals or the labor, they will also be needing light. All right, so you need to account for that also. All right, now generators for site use. All right, the office generator 60 kVA, then you have the housing generator, maybe a 50 kVA or a 30 kVA as the case may be. All right, we'll have for office generator we need to have 3 numbers. Here for the housing we have 2 numbers. All right, this will be run for the duration of the project, 392 days, and also this 392 days. Now daily consumption liter of the gen for 10 hours, 50 liters for every 10 hours. But of course maybe it stays through the night, because by the time in the morning they go and they come back, they turn on the gen. All right, so this is what we have. So a liter is 970. All right, that gives us this particular amount. The same thing goes for this. A liter is 970. That gives us 338 million 24,000. All right, so this gives 95 million, but in the summary they are separated. This is generators for offices only. All right, this is for offices only, and this one is for the house. This is how you plan for your generators in the preliminaries. Now site hoarding and fencing. Right, if the site doesn't have a fence, you need to provide one, right, for maximum security. All right, now we have a fence at 6,000 naira per meter, and of course the total perimeter of your fence is 2,250 meters. All right, by the time we multiply them, we arrive at 13,500,000 you're going to be using for fencing. Whether you want to use clear fence, or you want to use a barbed wire fence, or you want to use blocked fence, or you want to use a concrete fence, you need to account for it in your preliminaries. All right, of course, as built drawings. Now at the end of the project, you need to provide as built drawings to the client. Right, you need to provide as built drawing. I change this principle. You need to provide as built drawings to your client. All right, now what are as built drawings? As built drawings is the drawing of the project as per completion, where you have distribution board, where you have this wire crossing, where you have this particular panel. Everything has to show in your as built drawing, and also they have this what they call line diagram or something. So you have to allow for rates. So in this case, BTCL is allowing 3 million naira for as built. So there are sometimes you engineers do them, at times you sublet it. I was on a project where the contractor subletted the as built drawings. They contracted it out, so those guys come, did the observation, got the drawings, what is the finished drawings, and then they produce a perfect as built drawings for the project at completion. All right, then quickly, site meetings, very important. Item 7 is always very important. Now on the project site, definitely you're going to be having time. It could be weekly, it could be fortnightly, right? When I mean fortnightly, it could be every 2 weeks, and it could be every month, depending on what the contract stipulates. And of course, definitely you're going to be providing refreshments for your people. All right, so now this is 50k per week for each meeting with the client and with the client's representatives. Then for 56 weeks, that gives us this. Now of course, you really cannot ascertain what it's going to be. There are times you buy, it could be food, 3,000 naira food, or maybe 35 with drink, 4,000 naira. You're planning for 10 persons. All right, just a site meeting. That is 40,000 naira. You've not counted your own people. Okay, 10 persons, maybe 5 persons, 5 consultants, then maybe 5 from your own team. That's 40,000 naira and transport fare and all and all and all. All right, so you need to account for that very well. Then quickly, water. You're gonna be needing water. All right, and of course, you cannot be telling tanker to be bringing water for you. You need to make your own borehole. Now, community expenses. Right, it's coming from nowhere. Community expenses. Now, you need to plan as you're planning your preliminaries. You need to have a foresight for the communities you are going to work and the people there. Otherwise, by the time you get to that site, it will become a shock. They'll tell you they have a king, the king has a queen, the queen has a cousin, and you are going to settle all of them. So you need to make provision for them. So BTCL here is providing 40 million naira, and of course, it is in this part of the world. In this part of the world, it is common. So, as a contractor, you need to plan for them. As a QS, you need to plan for them for your company. Otherwise, by the time you get there, you will see yourself dipping your hands into your profits to pay these guys, because you must pay if they are there. Now, of course, topo setting, that's your surveying equipment, say 5 million naira. Then consultant expenses. See, if you want your project to go very well, you must take care of your consultants. You must make provision for your consultants. Otherwise, you struggle on that particular. You struggle on that particular project. So you need to take care of your consultants properly. All right, I've been on a project where the consultants are being paid. That not now that everything is very wonderful. All right, that time they are being paid. 5 of them, they have been paying 10,000 naira per week. All right, now aside some of the things the contractor do for them, so you must be ready to take care of your consultant, and you must plan appropriately for them if you want that project to be smooth. If you don't want to encounter hiccups on that particular project, so consultant expenses is planning 50,000 naira. Now other expenses may be miscellaneous, or as I put etc. You must allow miscellaneous. All right, and you need to demobilize out of sight. The same way you mobilize, you need to carry people out, you need to carry your expatriate out, you need to carry your batching plant out, you need to remove your precast concrete, you need to carry your tower crane, you must go out of sight, whether you like it or you like it, as soon as you're done with that particular project. Now you see, okay, yes, all right, now we have to remove our plant, equipment, offices. All right, which is what we have: transportation of workers and all, and plant and equipment. Every one of them has to go. Now the commissioning of batching plant and all. Right, excuse me, the removal of precast concrete yard. You have to remove the precast concrete yard. Removal of the tower crane base. We spent about 6 million, right, for the piling. 6 point something million, 6.7 thereabout for the piling. All right, so we have to remove everything, and we have to carry our truck, our tower crane, and leave the site. All right, I think we have exhausted all the items. Then it's giving us a total of I want it down, a total of 841,367,792 naira 84 kobo as the preliminary. So basically, in your preliminaries, you have to allow for everything allowable. Now there are no project vehicles here for the consultant. There are no laptops for the if the project allows, right, you need to include them in the preliminaries. Laptop for the consultant, project vehicles for the everything has to be in your preliminary. So this is how you price preliminary. And of course, like I said earlier, you must understand the salaries, because you have to allow for them in the preliminary. Salaries of every single individual that will be involved on that particular project. You need to understand how much they pay them as a salary and the allowances, and you need to allow for them in your preliminary. So basically, this is how you price. This is not exhaustive. All right, it is not exhaustive, but at least it covers a good number of preliminary items we see in our day-to-day construction activities. All right, I hope this helps you in your academics if you're still in school, and I hope it helps you in your professional career if you're practicing already. But whether you're an engineer, you're a QS, you're an architect, whoever you are, alright, checker context day for you. Alright, thank you for being part of this community all this while. Thank you for watching our videos. Thank you for always being there for us and waiting for our notification. If you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please do also like, subscribe, comment, and share our videos. This is Chaka Context. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.